Good afternoon, and welcome to Smart Trucking Live. How are you guys all doing out there today? It's a beautiful afternoon up in northern Ontario here in the woods. Lots of guys joining us this afternoon that I recognize. Trucker Hershey, I'll have to tell you the story. I saw your comment about the cattle trucks parking in the restaurant. I'll have to, if I get a break here, I'll tell you about my cattle truck story and Dickie Maynard. AJ's Woodshop, how are you doing? Bison's a good starter outfit if you come to Canada. If you're gonna make the jump across the lake, Bison would be a good option. Very, very well organized company. Who else have we got here? Danny Moore, how are you doing, Danny? Caveman Gaming, hello, sir. Spooky Tuesday, that's a cool name. I'm looking into trucking as a new career, but I've been learning a lot from your videos. Thank you. Thank you, Spooky. Joshua Hess, how are you doing? Bev, greetings from New Zealand. Halfway around the world. Incredible. Brian Walt, Nouveau, California. Hello from Barrie, Ontario. Spud Crowley. Almost on our back door there. Hot day down here in Brenham, Texas from Nunn Motorsports. Yeah, are you guys supposed to get that storm that's coming in, or is it already hit? There's another hurricane I read this afternoon. I don't know if it's going to get Texas or not. Good afternoon from Iowa, Riley. Jonathan Mestral. And the mysterious sounding guy, professional sounding. Nick is his name. Good to see you here, Jonathan. Did you say Shannon's here? Oh, there he is. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Thank you for stopping me on being a terrible lease contract. Durstep, you're more than welcome. I want to save as many guys as I can from that. Dre owner-operator, Long Beach, California. That's quite the job. That's quite the job. I've never done it myself, but I've seen those guys. Been in Long Beach a bunch, and it's something. Trucker Hershey, Bison from Canada? Yes. I've seen a bunch of them the last 2 weeks down here. Yeah, they're getting to be a big outfit. So this is just going to be a Q&A here, and before we slip too far into the depths of it, I wanted to tell Trucker Hershey my cattle rack story. He was pointing out the one bad thing about the truck stop that he liked there was the empty cattle racks in the parking lot and the odor. You had to be facing the right way to be uphill from them, upwind from them, I should say. So years and years ago, I was with one of my old buddies named Dickie Maynard, and we pulled into a little dirt truck stop in Fort Macleod, Alberta, and Dickie had a brand new set of Timpty Beal stainless tanker wagons, and they were just gorgeous, and you could brush your teeth in them. They were so shiny, and we were standing there admiring them, and Dickie parked next to a bull rack, and suddenly one of the girls must have backed up to the grates and fired a salvo, and it splattered all over Dickie's new shiny trailer, and it was so high up he couldn't reach it to clean it off anyway, but he was just appalled. The look on his face was priceless. One minute he had a spotless trailer, the next minute it was covered with crap, and he had hundreds and hundreds of miles to go to the next truck stop. So I always think of that when I see bull racks in the parking lot. So lots going on in the trucking world today, as there usually is. I got some statistics here from the latest CVSA Blitz I'm sure you'll be interested in. Their 5 biggest citations that they wrote the tickets for. The most tickets were for speeding. The second biggest category were seatbelts. The third biggest offense, failure to obey traffic signals. The fourth biggest offense was writing guys up for holding cell phones. And the fifth one was improper lane change. Those are the 5 biggest offending offenses that the CVSA wrote tickets for through this past blitz. I thought that was kind of interesting. I was surprised that speeding was on there, so it was at the top of the list. I was kind of surprised to see that. Deandra, hey, I pull a cattle wagon and it's fun for me. You know, I never wanted to pull cattle wagon because the freight rocks and rolls all night. They dance in the trailer and the trailer jumps up and down. And I'm a light sleeper as it is. I don't think I'd ever get any sleep pulling a bull rack. What else do we know for sure? I found out a few things about these autonomous trucks that I found kind of interesting. And it never occurred to me why there was always this big push, why we couldn't just develop them in the time that it takes, and if it takes 100 years to get it right, that's fine, so be it. As long as they're safe, that should be the object of the game. But it turns out one of the biggest reasons there's a big push on for these autonomous trucks is there are billionaire investors and speculators that have bought and invested in the development of these autonomous trucks. And these guys are pushing the government and the manufacturers because they want the return on their money as soon as possible. So they're really not too worried about safety. There's a surprise. They're worried about getting a return on their investment. And so that's part of the big reason there's such a big push for the autonomous trucks. Something else that I've clued into, and I think what you're going to see now is you see these autonomous trucks running experimentally across the Southwest, like through Arizona on the flat. And I wouldn't be surprised when the day comes when they can finally turn some of these things loose en masse, that you won't see autonomous trucks up in the Northwest or anywhere there's snow or bad weather. They'll just leave the autonomous trucks in the sunshine down in the Southwest, and the rest of us will have to pull all the crap roads and through the crap weather because the autonomous trucks just can't handle it. You watch. That'll be coming first. Autonomous trucks in the Southwest only. They drive me nuts. Anyway, so what's going on with you guys? Axle out with a cattle prod. Those are a great tool to have in a truck stop if you want to jab the guy next to you. Nothing like getting him to pay attention.
AJ's Woodshop, thank you very much for the £5. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're enjoying it thus far. He says, good afternoon, Dave. Thank you for all your informative videos. He wants to know what the best way to become a owner-operator and your opinion on financing a first truck.
Wow. It's a pretty big jump becoming an owner-operator these days anymore. It's a hell of a financial risk. But I recommend, having a whole lot of money in your bank account and going directly through a financial institution or a bank rather than get into one of these leasing deals with the carrier. And that way you're free to move your truck from carrier to carrier when you want. But, be as reliant on the carrier as little as you possibly can. Like, buy your own fuel, forget their fuel cards. Don't get into them for any money at all. That way they haven't got you tied down. But be aware it's an expensive proposition these days, and very few guys find it's worth the investment when they look at the number of years they've put in anymore. So think about it. Think about it very hard.
This one was from Leonard Holland. He wants to know, are lease purchase programs that bad?
Yes, for the most part. Now, there are always exceptions to the rule, but carriers got into this lease program business as a way to make money. They, all sorts of guys want to own their own trucks, and I can understand that. I was like that too. And the carriers clued into that, and they had bid the freight so low that they had to find another source of revenue. So they came up with this lease to purchase scam, and Prime was one of the first ones that I ever remember noticing. But yeah, it's carriers making money off guys that are trying to own their own truck. And I have a problem with that. I figure if carriers are going to make money, it should be off the freight that they pull, not off the guys that they hire. They're using truck drivers, and I have a real problem with that.
This one comes from Mr. Mack Martinez. He wants to know what your overall opinion of Schneider for first-year drivers is.
I'm sorry, what was the last part? Schneider?
He wants to know your overall opinion of Schneiders for first-year drivers.
I think Schneider's is an excellent carrier for first-year drivers. They've got one of the top training programs. They're a fair and equitable outfit. They've got a ton of freight. They've got lots of freight. They've got yards everywhere. I think they're a good choice for a first-year guy. You won't get rich there. That's my only beef with Schneider. But no, great starter company. Is the old Pete for sale, Josh? Josh wants to know. Oh, sure it is. Sure. Actually, I had it out the other day for a little ride. It's running great. So I'd hate to see it go, but yeah, for the right price, yeah, it might be time to move on. I always wanted to build an old W900A from the rails up. So that'd afford me enough money to be able to start a project like that. I think always love those old girls.
This one comes from Elliot. Wants to know your favorite all-around truck that you've had experience with in all of your days of trucking.
Well, I was just talking about it. My favorite all-around truck was the W900A, and I drove one of the last years. I think they quit making those in '82. I drove in '81 for a little while for a company, and I just love that truck. But you needed 40 acres to turn it around. That was my only beef with it. Had a huge hood on it, and it didn't like to turn sharp. But I think they were my all-time favorite. I'd like to find one of those. Maybe go down to see if Bill Spencer would sell me one of his or something like that, and try that. Love to try that. They were my favorites. 379 was my second favorite, and I've got one of those though.
Vasil says, hi Dave, he wants to know what you think about jobs hauling cement and resin.
Hauling resin as in liquid resin, I've done that and quite enjoyed the job. Never hauled cement, but resins and stuff like that, I enjoyed that work. And it paid fairly well too, so no, like that work, tanker work.
WiseGuy would like to know if flatbeds are still making money.
Flatbeds have been at the top of the heap for cents per mile rate for a few years now. What you've got to watch with flatbeds is that you situate yourself in an area. You can get a good paying load going in, but sometimes they're dry for flatbed freight coming back out again. So you've got to be careful where you go. California was bad for that. It's hard to get a good flatbed load out of California. But if you were in Houston, for instance, it was fairly easy to do. So, but yeah, flatbeds are still making pretty good money, and the oversized guys are doing really well with their setups.
This one comes from YBR Transport. They would like to know which fuel card you recommend when on the road, and which one you used when you were on the road.
What was the name of that card? Yeah, we had an Esso Imperial Oil card that we used, and it worked. It worked everywhere. It worked at the Pilots, the Flying J's, the Petros, the TAs. It worked everywhere that I stopped. The Loves. So I liked it because it was everywhere. It worked all around. You never got stuck looking for fuel and not having a place that recognized your card. So that's what we used. I forget what they called the name of that card, but yeah, Imperial Oil anyway. Esso, good card.
Kit Higgins would like to know about how CFI for a starter OTR company would be.
I've heard good things about CFI. I used to see them fairly often. I believe they're out of Missouri, CFI, but no, they're a good outfit. Yeah, I would. They got nice equipment too, and that was always important to me. So yeah, I'd say CFI would be a good deal.
Durstep would like to know, how do you feel about major companies not teaching drivers manual and just letting us have automatic restrictions?
That's a really good question. Because I'm a traditionalist, I'm against it. I can't give you a logical reason that I don't like it, but I think everybody that drives a truck should know how to shift a standard transmission, and I understand that, soon they'll be phased out altogether, and I don't understand why. There are all sorts of situations where you'd want a standard over an automatic, but the big money boys say that automatics are the wave of the future, so I'm sure that's what we'll see. But no, I see tons of value in being able to drive a standard transmission. What are my least two favorite trucks? Josh. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. Years ago, the General Motors used to make this truck called a GMC Astro, and they were just junk. And they had glass. The windshield was so big in them, you had glass down to your knees if you were driving one. Most of them were with like a 318 Detroit, and they screamed blue murder. You drove one of those, you'd about go deaf in the cab. So I really hated the GMC Astros, and I'm not much of a Volvo fan. I've known guys that have spent, like $140,000, $150,000 on a Volvo and traded it 4 years later. The thing was worth like $20,000, which is just insane, but that's how it is, because the fleets all bought them because they got a deal and then flooded the market with used Volvos, and they're really cheap. So I'm not a Volvo guy either.
Marco says, Dave, last time I watched your live stream, he got a speeding ticket which cost him $800.
Were you watching while you were driving? Holy smokes. What state was that in? $800. Were you in Ohio? I'd love to know what state you were in. Ohio used to give out tickets like that. That's a healthy ticket. Man.
We're glad you enjoy our live streams, but might not be the most optimal time to enjoy them at.
Yeah, you should probably pay some attention to the speedometer.
Yeah, distracted driving is a topic coming up in our Friday video, so might want to pay attention to that part.
Wow. Mr. Skeptical, manuals pull better. I think so too. I don't know mechanically why that would be, but that's how I feel about them.
Mike Waller wants to know, have you or would you use snow stocks instead of chains?
I have never tried snow socks. They weren't around when I was running out there, and apparently they work fairly well. Some of the states now have legalized them as a legal substitute for chains. So I'd love to try them. I can't really judge them until I've tried them though, but they seem to be all right. They certainly look easier to put on and off. Joe Jones, Brigadier was bad. Yes, they were. And you're showing your age there, Joe, but yeah, they were bad.
Marco says he was in Michigan and the speed limit had dropped from 70 to 55. He had to pay a lawyer, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
I mean, I feel bad for him.
Man, that hurts. That hurts. Well, thank God you're making good money. I hope you're making good money. Wow. Daniel, thank you. Daniel says, I have finished 1 year with Swift and paid my loan off. I'm no fan of Swift, but they did help me get my CDL. I'm going to stay with them a few more years before moving on. Appreciate trucking, learning from others. Well, congratulations, Daniel. That's kind of a yardstick to celebrate. There's worse companies than Swift. They're kind of like Schneider. You'll never get rich there, but they've got a ton of freight and they've got a ton of trucks. So, and they're being run by the Knight brothers now, which is a plus, which is a good thing. So, not a bad decision, but thank you.
Yes, Daniel. Thank you very much for the generosity on the $15 donation. Justin would like to know, would you recommend a fuel card over a credit card?
Yes, all day long. Most fuel cards don't tack a big interest rate on at the end of the month the way the way a credit card does. So no, I'd recommend, and you get a better price, get a better rate at the pump on a fuel card than you do on like a Visa or something like that. So the fuel's cheaper off a fuel card. West Express, does GP have someone you can talk to about work? Kathy, you'd know who they should talk to.
I will post.
Okay, Kathy's going to cover that question for you, West Express. Good question.
Marco says the worst part was the trooper was following him for a good while, and he was getting pissed off by the time he finally caught up to him because he didn't notice he was following him in the first place. Probably not the best foot to start off on there.
Oh man,
for that
did they have the lights on and everything? Man, yeah, that would be annoying if you were chasing a truck for 15 miles when he had his lights flashing. He would be getting a little smoked.
I mean, if anything, that's a compliment to the quality of our live stream. Then, if it's that enticing and that interesting that you don't notice a state trooper behind you trying to pull you over,
Yeah, you should have said, "Geez,
Yeah, it's a
I'm
compliment, really.
I'm sorry.
No, man.
I'd rather watch Smart Trucking live than my mirrors." So yeah,
priorities, and that's what it's all about. So.
that's a real compliment. Probably not a wise decision, but a real compliment. I ran into Jamie Davis at Maggio Truck Center in Rockford, Illinois, showing off his new wrecker. Really? Man, that's in Rockford, Illinois from BC. I wonder what the heck he was doing all the way out there. Wow.
Sophie would like to know how you deal with people who brake check you for no reason. The reason why they're asking is because they're thinking of becoming a trucker themselves.
You know, that's a tough question, and you can fall back as far as you possibly can, but that doesn't prevent someone from coming along and brake checking you. Like you always want to leave a ton of following distance between you and the guy in front of you, but that doesn't mean you won't get brake checked. There's nothing you can do about it, but you can't lose your cool. All you can do is ease off it, get away from them, back away from them, and don't lose your cool and don't get mad. And if they persist, call the plate into the troopers. And hopefully, if you've got this on your dash cam, you'll be able to prove your case right there. Sometimes the cops will track them down from the plate number and give them a ticket. So that's about the best you can do, but you don't want to get you and your truck swerving and try to get around them and stuff like that. Just back right off. If they're persistent, take a break, whip into a truck stop and cool your heels or go for a drink or something like that. But don't engage with them.
Joe Jones asks, is Crete still as good as people used to say they were?
Yes. As far as I'm concerned, Crete is still one of the top carriers. They're a carrier I'd recommend without reservation.
Daniel, once again, thank you for the generosity on the $5 donation. He would like to say thank you to all drivers and the ones who made the effort for helping him become a good truck driver.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate the support. We really do.
Jonathan Mestro, welcome to the stream, by the way. Good to see you back. $20. That's nuts. You're crushing it as usual. Can't comment what I want on here. We'll still send in the regular comments, so keep an eye out. We will do so. We will keep an eye out for your comments, Jonathan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out. We'll be watching for that. I'm curious to see what it is. Sophie Jackson, thank you for the advice, Smart Trucking. Thank you for saying so, Sophie. Appreciate it. What are your thoughts on IOOA? I'm presuming you mean the OOIDA, and I support them. I'm a member. They're the only ones fighting for truck drivers out there. So, no, I'm all for those guys.
Steve asks, if you don't want to run long haul with a carrier like Challenger, Schneider, or Ryder as your first job after trucking school, what would you suggest? He's in Waterloo, Ontario.
And he just wants to run.
Doesn't say.
run short. It doesn't want to run long.
Doesn't want to run long haul, no. With a carrier like Challenger, Schneider, or Ryder.
What about those companies out west?
Well, he's in Waterloo. You could try BLM. They might have some short work there, and they're right in Kitchener.
Rob Cajun, thank you very much for the $10 donation, my friend. Hope you're enjoying the stream thus far.
Dave, thoughts on the 2021 Peterbilt 389? Josh, apparently they haven't changed them at all, and that's just fine with me. I'm worried these days that they'll discontinue the long hood trucks. They haven't made a move like that yet. I think it would be a mistake, but no, quite like the 389. Beautiful trucks.
Rob Cajun would like to know, what are the top Canadian mega carriers that you would recommend?
Well, we don't really have any mega carriers the same size as what they have in the States with thousands and thousands of trucks. Bison is a good outfit, well-run outfit. Challenger also is a good, well-run outfit. Those would probably be my top two. Kathy, can you think of a big Canadian carrier that you like the look of?
Did you say Challenger?
I did say, yeah, Challenger and Bison. Yeah, that's about the two that I can come up with off the top of my head.
Trucker JP says, thank you so much for what you guys are doing here, and it's been a huge benefit to him thus far. He's a recent grad and currently on his trainer's truck running OTR. He would like to know, how long should a new driver be on a trainer's truck?
If you get along with the guy as long as possible, I'm assuming, of course, that he's an experienced trainer. But yeah, if he's an old hand behind the wheel, stick with him as long as you possibly can. You'll learn stuff every week, guaranteed. The more you learn, the better. I'm a big believer in the mentoring system. Dave, have you ever considered becoming an instructor at a CDL school? Michael Mueller. Michael, how are you doing? No. no, I haven't. There isn't anything like that around up here where I live. And I don't know if they'd want to pay me what I'd want to be paid. And for some of them, I don't know if I'd have the steel nerves required. So, no, I never have really considered it, Michael. Good question, though. Jeff Steves, hello from Moncton, New Brunswick. How are you, Jeff? Have you guys heard? This was going to be one of my skill testing questions today, but I didn't get it in often enough. Have you guys heard the car company that's trying to buy international trucks? Let's see if anybody knows the answer to that. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Bowlinder says he doesn't have a question, but he would like to thank us very much for what we are doing. Well, we want to thank you for coming into the live stream this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Roger Penske says working for BLM is a riot. I don't know. You know, they were quite the operation back in the day. I don't know just if Jimmy McConnell still owns them or not, but I've heard they were an adventure back in the day. Shannon gets it. Shannon, up on your truck news there in your history. Volkswagen, which is just a massive, massive company. I forget the name of the parent company that owns Volkswagen, but yes, Volkswagen is trying to buy International. There's a really good chance that they're going to succeed. International has been in trouble for a number of years, and they once made a great truck. They really did. Internationals were really good trucks, but they made a few major boo-boos with their SCR valves and their engines to the point that they've lost they've lost a huge part of their customer base. So they're looking to get out. Volkswagen's just the company that can afford to do it. So yeah, that's right, Shannon. Way to go.
Daniel, another $5. Jeez, thank you so much for the support on the stream. He believes Lowe's will be getting hard due to COVID. Christmas coming up in food product. It's going to be hard to find empties due to big accounts.
Jeez, that's anybody's call, Daniel. I hope you're wrong, but you may well be right. They're kind of talking up here about a second wave of COVID, but it's not a serious deal yet. It's hard to call. It's a crapshoot as to what's going to happen and who's going to have faith in the market and who's going to pull out. And it's a dirty business, and we'll just have to wait and see because nobody can really call it. But I'm sick of this COVID thing already. If you'll pardon the expression. So I'm hoping it'll just kind of fade into the dirt and they'll find something else to focus on. But it's a tough call. I don't know.
Spooky Tuesday would like to know if a Peterbilt is worth the extra investment over a Kenworth.
I always found, depending on the area of the country you were in, that sometimes Kenworth was more or sometimes Peterbilt was more. So I would shop either one. They're both made by PACCAR. But the nice thing about PACCAR equipment, whether it's a Kenworth or whether it's a Pete, is they have great resale value. Now, right now, my understanding is that if you get a long hood Kenworth, it's actually worth a little bit more than a 389 if you trade it, depending on where you are, but they're both excellent trucks. And yeah, I'd buy either one just for the resale value, and you couldn't go wrong with either one.
Billy Bones, thank you very much for the $10 donation. Glad to see you here. Hope you're enjoying the stream thus far. He would like to know if you can explain the difference, the different businesses, structures for LLC for one truck operations. And I believe Kathy actually has the answer to that, so I'm going to pass it over to her.
Hey, Billy, I would like you to send me an email, if you could, to info@smart-trucking.com, and I will give you the information there. It's a bit of an involved answer, but that would give you the most information.
Bluebird Express, thoughts on PACCAR MX-13. Good motors. They have issues with their sending units and their sensor systems, but the engine itself is sound, and they've been around for years. And PACCAR now knows that that's an issue with those motors, and PACCAR works on stuff. They don't want stuff going out of there that doesn't work. So yeah, if I were speccing a new truck today, like right off the line, I'd spec a PACCAR motor.
HamishK, thank you very much for the £5. Glad to see you back in the stream today. Hope you're enjoying it thus far.
Hey, Hamish, how you doing? Trucker JP, my trainer has been pushing me to run top speed at 69 for my first 2 days of OTR. Speed limit being 65, sometimes 70. Somewhat uncomfortable going that fast being a rookie. Yeah, I got a suggestion. Run as fast as you are comfortably. Don't let this guy push you. He's got no right to push you. You've got to get control of the truck. That's step one. That's base one. Don't let this guy push you into driving fast. I can't even imagine what his thinking is there. Probably there is no thinking. Probably because his carriers told him to whip this guy because we need high-speed transport. But no. If you're comfortable at 50, drive it at 50. If you're good at 60, drive it at 60. After I got comfortable with trucks many years ago, I was comfortable at 65, and that's as fast as I ever drove the thing. So, no, you run it at a speed that you're comfortable with. And if your trainer gives you hell, tell him to come talk to me.
Marco says his check last week was $2,600 as a company's guy at 60 CPM.
Not bad.
Jeez.
Not bad. Where do you work? I'm going to come work there. I need a good job. SoCal Sandman's here. I didn't even spot him. How are you doing today? What was I reading about Forward Air? Forward Air just bought some delivery company somewhere. I don't even remember the name of who it was that they bought, but I was thinking of you anyway when I read the article. But apparently, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently air freight took a bit of a hit through this COVID-19 thing. Let me know if you found that was the case for you anyway.
Eric would like to say that he is a big fan. He wants to know what kind of jobs he would suggest as a starting trucker in Canada. He's pretty much willing to work in any province/territory.
I liked when I was fairly new to driving. I liked working out in the prairies like Saskatchewan, Alberta, because there was just less traffic. That's all there was to it. And that was the less traffic. It makes it easier for you to get more comfortable with the driving. So as far as carriers out there, I don't even know any carriers out there anymore. I know Bison's out there, but they're about the only one that I can think of off the top of my head for a new guy. But yeah, if you run like Western Canada and the prairie provinces, not a whole lot of traffic, pretty straightforward roads, no surprises. BC has got some surprises, but if you stay in Alberta and Saskatchewan, Manitoba, you should be good.
WiseGuy, thank you very much for the $10 donation. Really appreciate that. He says he just started following the channel about a month ago, and this is his first live stream. Really hope you're enjoying it this far, by the way. And he already had his question answered, so we hope we earned the $10. Hope you got what you were after there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, WiseGuy. Appreciate it. Hey, SoCal Sandman says he got his Safe Driving Award from Forward Air today. Congratulations. That's excellent. Tell him you'll take a week off with pay as a reward. But no, seriously, congratulations. That's good. Like to see that. I like to see companies recognizing their good drivers.
HamishK with the £5 generosity, as usual, as we've come to expect from the man. In the UK, we have trucks sometimes with no limiters. He was trying to overtake an old Ford truck, and he beat me.
Are limiters mandatory over there? They're supposed to be mandatory here in Ontario and Quebec, and it was one of those flash in the pan laws. They checked and patrolled the heck out of it for a couple of years. Now it just seems to be forgotten and fallen by the wayside. You never hear anything about it anymore. They get these bright ideas and enforce the heck out of them for a while, and then they go on to something else. But yeah, not everybody has them in Ontario, I can tell you that.
He says they are mandatory over there.
Are they? Yeah. Yeah, you'll find all sorts, and it's usually like the little operations, like the dump truck guys and stuff, that don't even bother because they figure they'll never get caught. They're hardly ever out in the highway, so yeah, it's kind of a goofy thing anyway. I think I'm not in favor of that. David Simpson, thanks to all the drivers running from Western Canada down through the U.S. coast and back right now. That'd be a heck of a drive with all that smoke these days. Where was I looking at a picture of San Francisco, actually, downtown San Francisco just today. And it was just like it was enveloped with a huge fog, and it was smoke from all these forest fires. And there I can get off on a rant. I don't know if I should be or not, but Kathy says, no, keep your opinion to yourself, so I guess I better. Hey, Dave, do you know the guys from William A. Spencer Trucking? It's cool large cars there. I know who they are. I don't know anybody down there. Their reputation speaks for itself. An amazing reputation, beautiful trucks. I've always wanted to go to their annual truck show. I haven't made it yet, but it's on my to-do list. But no, top shelf operation, that's for sure. Been around a long time too. John Butler, I have all big truck drivers in my prayers. God bless and be safe. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. We all appreciate that. What is the difference between hotshot trucking and regular trucking? I'm confused because some of the hotshot guys drive semis too. The Dodge Man 50. My opinion is, and hotshot's been something that's been confused the last few years. It used to be husband and wife team in a little 5-ton van running something like air freight as fast as they could from point A to point B. Now they talk about hotshot trucking as being guys with big pickup trucks pulling 50-foot flatbeds with 13,000 or 12,000 pounds on the deck. Now that's become hotshot trucking, and some of those guys are licensed to run big trucks, and some of them aren't. I guess you have to be over a certain weight or something for those guys with the pickup trucks to require a CDL. I don't know what the limit is. Never got into it. It was like, never even cared about it. It was kind of like toy trucking to me. But yeah, there are some guys that do that now. You see them on YouTube. But as far as I'm concerned, that's the definition. They're just little toy trucks.
Ryan Hollingsworth, thank you so much for the $5 donation. He wanted to express his appreciation for all of our advice and the stories. He's about to get out of the U.S. military and is currently working through getting his CDL through Troops into Transport. He has a kid on the way. He wants to know if there are any types of companies or hauling in Washington State that could get him home by the end of the day that may be worthwhile.
Geez,
Thank you, by the way, Ryan. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I've always been impressed with veterans. That was something I would have done had I been an American. Was join the service. Up here in Canada, it's a joke, but the U.S. military is an amazing machine. I don't know of anybody off the top of my head up in that neck of the woods that I would recommend to you. I wish I could help. I wish I could help. Beautiful country up there. Yeah, somebody points out you could go haul logs and be home every night. And there's something I always wanted to try, and there's a lot of that up there in Washington and Oregon, pulling logs. And I think that'd be neat as hell. I'd love to try that. That's a great suggestion. Mole 646. I think that is what I'd try. Thank you, Mole. Jamie Goodman. Hey, guys, what's up? How are you doing, Jamie? You can get a Class A with a Hotshot. However, you will not have the air brake endorsement, says Jefferies. I got to think about that. That might be the distinction. That might be right. Without the air brake endorsement.
Jeff Steves would like to know what your plans for the Pete are.
Oh, they change day to day. I thought about using it for going to Florida in the winter, but we can't do that now. So I guess I'll just hobby truck around here with it. It's, some guys have old hot rod cars. I've got this old hot rod Pete. I think I'll just kind of play with it. I don't plan to work it anymore. Actually, I got offered a job this summer working the truck, but I don't think I'm going to do it. It's up here. They want me to pull a quad axle with it, and I don't think I could do that to the poor old girl. So I think I'll just hobby truck around. Stacy Werner says I'm in school right now for my AZ. Way to go, Stacy. Good luck with that. You'll be fine, I'm sure. You can always use an AZ license.
To touch on Ryan's question from earlier, Jamie made a pretty good suggestion there that Mason Trucking will get you home every night, and they put pull mail for USPS.
United States Postal Service. Good suggestion. Thank you. I just saw something I wanted to. Do you know anything about Transwest Group out of Quebec, Stacy? I know some stuff. Are you looking at trying them out, Stacy? I think they're an all right carrier. They like teams. They've had their ups and downs, but they've been around for a while now. Good equipment for the most part, which is always a plus for me. So I wouldn't be afraid to check them out. We knew one guy that worked there doing city pickup and delivery, and he really liked it. They treated him very well, so he recommended them to us.
This one I don't know if it's a serious question or not, but I'd be interested to know. Big Earl wants to know, Dave, what does he do about his old lady cheating on him while he's on the road? Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. That's
Oh no.
That's
Oh no.
if it's
That's
a serious topic, then I feel bad.
that's out of my league. That's beyond my scope of expertise. Sorry to hear that. Logging in Mississippi pays by tonnage coming out of the woods. You have tonnage and tonnage miles. That's interesting. That's interesting. I can see that would be a logical way to do that.
Rapkid would like to know if there's any update on the Lettuce King's latest project.
Yes, we're in constant touch with the Lettuce King. Just about the time he was finishing the peat up and we were getting ready to go down it, he says, wait, I bought a stainless spread reefer. Now I got to fix it all up. So we had to hold off until he got the whole thing all put together and matched up and painted. So apparently now it's all done. We saw like a little video of it the other day that he sent us, and it's an amazing ride, all hooked up. It's just beautiful, and we're going to go down some weekend as soon as we can coordinate when he's going to be home and when we're going to be home. But it should be pretty soon. He's got the whole thing all hooked up and looking large and looking cool. So I'm just dying to see it. Kathy wants to drive it. So
we actually have a clip from him that we can feature on next week's live stream in the background. So
do we?
Let you guys see that.
Excellent, because it's a cool looking ride. All his rides have been really cool, but this one might be the coolest yet. Hamish Volvo has the VT880, which is a long nose, not a curb sniffer. Michael, I'm going to trust you on this because I don't know. So I'll trust you on that.
John Perkins would like to know, is he too old to become a truck driver? He is 61 years old. Great question.
Well, you need to tune in for next week's video because that's exactly what our topic is. And quick hint, no, you're not too old. Not at all. I took up your referral to GP Transco. This is from Jefferies. So far, it's a great company. Pay is pretty dang good. Glad to hear that, Jeff. Yeah, we really like those guys over there. They're a good outfit. So glad you're finding it the same. Dave, are there any 900 Model A Kenworths working? Yes. I believe the Spencers work theirs all the time, for instance. Up here anymore, you never see them, and it's too bad. There were a few, but they seem to have disappeared somewhere. But no, you see more of them in the States than you do up here in Canada. But yeah, there are some still working. Good solid truck.
Ryan, once again, thank you very much for the $10 donation. He's looking into Matheson and Longs. He'd like to thank us for everything, and he can't wait to start trucking. He says, keep on keeping on.
Thank you, Ryan. Good luck with those guys. I haven't heard anything bad about them, so I'm sure you'll be fine. Here's Jonathan here, Nick. My little story keeps getting buried in the comments, but you guys are great. It's a good thing when you have a lot of comments. Jonathan, thank you. Appreciate that very much. Oh, here's Sonny G. Plan on getting a KW 990 starter truck. Was a Freightliner Cascadia maybe end of this year. I'd go for the 990 over the Cascadia. It's probably a little trickier to drive because it's got a whole lot more hood than the Cascadia, but I haven't driven one yet, but they're supposed to be a beautiful truck to drive, the 990. GP is a great company. They seem to be interested in new tech. I see them very active online. That's from AJ Deere T680. Yes, I think they are very active that way.
Justin would like to know if you've heard any official word on the W990 replacing the W900.
Well, that originally, that was kind of the talk from Kenworth, but they had so many of the 900 guys screaming blue murder, they decided not to do that. So now they're keeping both models for the current time period. You may see them try to phase out the 900 down the road here, but that's not their plan right now. And I don't see any advantage in phasing out the 900. They watch, I'm sure PACCAR watches sales numbers, and if they see the numbers dip too far, they may discontinue it. But I can't see that happening anytime soon. And this 990 is hardly any smaller than the 900. So I don't know what they're thinking down there, but they've kind of got two big hood trucks out there right now.
Big Earl would like to know what your thoughts on a Volvo are.
I decided a while back that I was going to suck it up. And for you guys, my audience, I decided I was going to go down and test drive a brand new Volvo. And Kathy and I set it up with the guy down south here, and he stiffed us. He wasn't there. He stiffed us. He had another appointment. So that didn't really feel very good to me. That just encouraged me to hate Volvos even more. And I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he just, he blew us off. So my opinion of Volvos hasn't improved. I've heard they ride very well, and they're a nice truck inside. Kind of got that European thing going for them. I like the traditional North American thing on the interior, but I won't be buying one anytime soon. Jacob, thank you. Thank you very much. Hi there. I was wondering what your opinion on the sneak peeks we just got on the new Western Star, or just the brand in general. Love from Quebec. Jacob, I haven't seen any pics of the new Western Star. Is it pretty sharp looking? They make a good truck. I like Western Star. I drove one as a company truck in 1979, and it was one of the nicest trucks I ever drove. The interior was awesome in that thing. I haven't seen the new pictures. I'm going to have to go find them because I like them. They're tend to be a little bit heavier of a truck because they used to use mostly all steel construction, but I'm going to have to go check that out. I appreciate the tip. Anxious to see what they look like.
Yes, Jacob, thank you very much for the $10 generosity there. And speaking of generosity, of course, we have another one from Hamish. Thank you for another £5 as expected. Shifting 18-speed overdrive seems simple to me. 1 to 4, 5 to 8, and then to 18.
It is a simple transmission, Hamish. And what makes it so simple is you can skip gears, left, right, and center all over the place, and just drive it like a 10-speed, and then flick the splitter to get it in the top hole. Unless you're pulling major weight, you'll never need half the gears that are there. But it's got a gear for everything you'll ever need, that's for sure. But no, it's my favorite transmission. I was, before they came along with that, I liked the 15 over, but I'm a convert. I like the 18 best of all.
Do they make or order the 389 Peterbilt with an automatic transmission?
That's a really good question. I'm sure that they probably do by now, but do I know anyone that would spec it that way? No. So, but yeah, good question, but they probably do.
Brian would like some suggestions for truck driving schools in Ontario, and if you have any idea how much they cost nowadays, feel free to throw that in there.
Oh, the cost of a trucking school in Ontario is ridiculous. And I've even seen them suggesting that these are the trucking schools, suggesting that you mortgage your house to afford to pay for trucking school. And I did a video on that. I was so mad when I saw that. And I think they're ridiculously priced way out of sight. And I'm sure they have a defense for that. I don't see it getting a license here in Ontario anymore because it's a job that here in Ontario doesn't pay particularly well, and you'll spend so much money going to school, it'll be years and years and years before you recoup the value out of what you spent at the driving school. And it's upwards of $10,000 or more now here, and I think that's just insane. And it's a conglomerate of trucking schools that got together, made this proposal to the government when we were having a bunch of wrecks here, and the government, who knows nothing about nothing, especially about trucking, goes, "Oh, that's a good idea," and implemented this plan. And the idea was that it was supposed to improve the quality of new truck drivers, but nobody can afford to go. So it's just another pointless move.
Now, he had a second half of his question there. He also wanted to know what you felt would be a suitable outfit in Ontario.
Bison has a yard in Ontario, and Challenger certainly does. Either one of those two would be all right. Either one of those.
He wants to know for truck driving schools in Ontario.
I don't know. Now, they used to allow the big carriers like Challenger and Bison to train their own people. And then they got tossed out of that. Challenger was fighting that. I'm not sure. You'd have to contact Challenger, but Challenger may now be allowed to train again. If they're not, I could probably recommend Tri-County truck driver training in that area. But like I say, bring your checkbook if you're going that route.
Now, I do have a little bias when I select these comments to read sometimes, but Big Earl says, Dave, you have a great son. The dude is the man, and I couldn't agree more with that point, Earl. I would really like to reinforce that, so I appreciate that.
Who is that from?
Big Earl.
Oh, Big Earl. Are you drunk, Big Earl? Just kidding. No, he's a good kid. He's a good kid.
All right, keep that in mind for later. Big Earl has another comment that he says he got his CDL 3 years ago and in Delaware now, making $80K delivering milk 4 days a week. He says, let's go.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, here's Big Earl again. I got my CDL for $3,600 3 years ago in Delaware. Yeah, that's more like what driving school should cost. Yes, I know. I'm just quoting it back. Oh, here's Stacy. Right now, it's over $8K at Crossroads, who I've heard of in Barrie, Ontario. I have heard of Crossroads training. Josh, Dave, is the Mack highway truck dead? It pretty much seems to be. This, the Ontario-Quebec corridor, Josh, was kind of a mainstay for Mack trucks, and you don't even see them on that corridor anymore. They're still big in the cement mixers and the dump trucks, but you really don't see them much on the highway anymore.
All right, Chad, it's about that time of the day where we start wrapping up the stream now, so we'll take a couple more questions here, and then we'll call it for this afternoon.
Michael Mueller, what about DeckX or TransX? Are those Canadian? Yes, they are. Yes, they are, Michael. And that was a pretty smart boy. That guy built that company up from nothing to a couple thousand trucks. And their biggest customer were the railroads. And he ended up selling it to one of the railroads and making millions off the deal. But yeah, those are Canadian trucks. Steve says Tri-County's AZ program is $94.75. Wow. Benjamin, hello, big strappers, and greetings. Greetings to you, Benjamin. How are you doing? Any idea about the cost of trucking school in BC? I don't know. I don't know for out there how much it is. I can't tell you. Sorry. Big Earl says, good chat, guys. God bless. Stay safe. Thanks for what you're doing. Big Earl signing out. Big Earl, good chatting with you. Take care. Drive safe.
Do you have any stories off the top of your head there, Dave? Jeff would like to know if you have one.
No, we're kind of out of time for that. I'm kind of long-winded when it comes to stories, but keep posted to our YouTube videos. I almost always try to do stories at the end of them. I know I've got a story on the one this week when it happens.
All right, so that'll be it for today, Chad. I want to give a special thank you to all our Super Chat donators. AJ's Woodshop, Jonathan Mestrel, Robin Cajun, Daniel Jr., HamishK, WiseGuy, Ryan Hollingsworth, and Jacob Cadeau. Thanks to everyone and everyone in the chat today. Dave, I'll let you sign it off from here.
Appreciate you guys all joining us today. And I want to say goodbye to the regulars too, like Michael Mueller and SoCal Sandman. We love it when you join us. Take care, you guys. Keep the rubber side down. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the backhaul.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.